Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad you're here. We want you to know your soul is welcome here, and we're going to sing about it.
That's right. We all do better when we all do better, right? You're going to hear about that. And we're going to sing about how all of our souls are welcome here. You ready? Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul, oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. You're so welcome here, Russell. It's welcome here. It's just so welcome here, Jesse. It's just so welcome here, Devon. My soul, how about you, Paula? It's just so welcome here. My soul is welcome here. It's just so welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Spiritual Life Center Experience. Good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you today.
It's good to see you, Reverend James. And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred. And in the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all of those people who worship in stone circles, temples, mosques, and of course, the very, very beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, whether online or on site, we especially want to welcome you, because we know that no one is here by accident. Every single one of us is here by divine appointment.
So let's take a moment. Oh, you got something else to add?
Yeah, I have something
Yes,
else
go
to
ahead.
say. So please refrain from, we're really excited to see you here today, and we're really excited when you silence your electronic devices, whatever they might be, and please refrain from flash photography during the service. Now it's yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, let's take a moment. Connect with His presence. Releasing any concern that we may have brought with us and setting it aside to be in tune with this loving energy we call God. And we call it different names, but our job is to call it forth as the activity of our awareness, of our consciousness, so that we're always holding the thoughts of this presence, speaking words from this awareness, and making sure that our actions are in integrity with all the things that God represents in our life and in our world. So we send out this divine energy to our entire planet. We continue to hold the vision of peace and possibilities for the human spirit, even where it appears to be nothing but the opposite. For we know that our world is nothing more than an outpicturing of what's going on in the group soul, the group consciousness. And as we begin to transform that to something higher, then it reflects itself in that world. So we're reminded that God, the Spirit of the living God, needs us to be the very best that we are here to be, to shine the light of this presence, so that we may anchor the qualities of this presence of peace and love and joy and wisdom and health and vitality and vigor on the very planet in which we live, because we are the way that the Spirit of the living God gets around in this dimension. So God needs us to shine God's light, and we do so with joy and with gladness and thanksgiving. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. We have an important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center, and it's reflected in our mission statement. And I invite you to share and affirm it with me together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we carry out these principles, universal principles that unity adheres to the best of our ability, and make that part of our awareness and consciousness. So let's affirm them together as well. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action. Every year between January and April, we acknowledge the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. through the Season for Nonviolence. And every week during this time, we have someone to come forward to reaffirm those principles and tell us their perspective on it. And this morning we have Jenny, who's going to come forward to be our reader for our Season for Nonviolence. So welcome, Jenny, this morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Today, Martin Luther King's words, "Today I do the work that is mine to do with a glad heart. Today as I wake and prepare to go about the work that is mine to do, I take the time to become centered and peaceful. I consecrate and dedicate my thoughts, words, and deeds to you, loving presence. Whatever I do today, I do with gladness. It is a work for an If it is work for an employer, I do it with great care and attention, remembering that I am blessed to have a job, to be in service to others. As I cook and clean, I do so with the attitude that I am creating food and a welcoming space for you, my dearest friend. I know the truth that your presence is in every place and in all people. What I do for other, I do for you. Each loving act of service I give to another is given with a glad heart. Thank you, God, for the work that is mine to do today." Beautiful. In my own personal journey, I've learned that attitude is such a little thing, but it makes a big difference in how I feel. It makes me think of the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs song, "Whistle while we work, do-do-do-do-do." I don't think you guys are going to be inviting me into your band soon, but there is one part of it. It says, "It won't take long when there's a song to tidy up the place." I think the song embodies what I hear Martin Luther King Jr. saying, that no matter the task, when approached with a glad heart and a loving act of service, any task becomes a joy to be part of something greater than ourselves, to be of service to our family, our community, and beyond. No wonder he was such a great leader.
Thank you, Jenny. Birthdays. Any birthdays in the month of March?
Do we have any March
Any March birthdays? You'll stand. We're going to acknowledge you in the March of March birthdays.
And those online, stand up too.
Ooh.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya.
Now, you can join Reverend James and Board President Sally Sion today at 1 o'clock for an informative community member information session. Whether today is your first visit or if you've been visiting for a while, we welcome you to become a community member of SLC. And at this session, you can find out what it means to be a community member, ask questions, and get to know some of our community's leadership. You can go to the website for more information or register under the events tab. Of course, if you're already here, you can just go in. Do you know, are you going to be meeting in the annex probably?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so they'll be right in this little room next door at 1 o'clock.
And speaking of membership, we're going to have an annual meeting in May, and we're going to elect new Board of Trustee members to our board. And the application process is now open, and there'll be an information session that's going to take place on March the 20th. And if you're excited, if you'll call to serve, you can start applying for that position here at Spiritual Life Center. And also, you can visit the Board Recruitment Committee table that is in the courtyard or look at our website for more information. So if you have a calling to be possibly on our Board of Trustees, we invite you to apply to be part of that experience.
And this Wednesday, the Reverend Linda Martella Witzik class called Empowering Prayer begins. It is a Zoom class, and we actually have a video invitation directly from her.
Hi friends, I'm Reverend Linda. I serve proudly as the leader of Silent Unity, which is Unity's 24/7 worldwide prayer ministry. I'm also an author and a teacher of Unity principles, which is why I'm thrilled to have been invited to offer a series of classes about the principles and practices of Unity prayer when we pray with others. I know that I've, through the years, been through thoughts that maybe you're having, thoughts like, I want to understand more deeply how to support someone in prayer messages that move them, but also move them to act, right? To demonstrate truth for themselves. I longed so to understand this more that I wrote about it, I studied, I taught my way to where I am today, and hoping that some of what I have learned along the way might be useful for you. In fact, if you've been praying with others for a long while, I still believe there's something here for you, just as there is always for me. Imagine rising to greater levels of clarity in prayer, being able to provide messages that empower those you pray with to really live into the truth that is revealed through the prayer session. To do what Myrtle Fillmore said, it's not enough and our work is only half done unless we give those with whom we pray an explanation of the Christ principles by which they can prove truth for themselves. When you lend your realized consciousness of prayer to those you pray with, you shine the light of a truth that they now have a chance to find within themselves. A principle to claim and by which they can live their life going forward. Well, more about this, about the nature of God, about your divine identity when we meet. You know what to do. Enroll in this series. I can hardly wait to be with you.
I think this is going to be an exciting class. And she talks a lot about praying with others, but when you take that training, then it enhances your own prayer life too, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So even if you don't intend to be praying with others, it's a very valuable class.
It will uplift you to whole different heights.
Yeah. And just changing the energy a little bit, it's bingo time.
Like a charm.
Yeah,
Bingo.
if you feel lucky, if you feel charmed, you can come on site. It's on this Friday at 7 o'clock. Get your magic cape and your top hat and come join the fun. Or if you want to stay home with your cup of green tea, then you can join us on Zoom. So you can go to the website and find out every possible thing you would ever want to know about bingo on our site.
And speaking of being part of something bigger than ourselves, Spiritual Life Center, among other things, makes a contribution to organizations outside of a community that are compatible with the idea of helping others in so many different ways. And so each month we give to an organization that has been selected by our committee and recommended by members of our community. And today we're going to have an introduction of the core experience by Pam Logan, who is on that team to share and introduce the recipient of our community giving process today. Welcome, Pam.
Good morning, SLC family. So good to see you. I am very excited today to present our March community partner, which is Core Experience. And before I do so, I wanted to remind everybody that you have an opportunity to nominate any nonprofit that you feel would be something that would be in line with our mission and philosophy. And then our committee will vet that organization, and then they'll be here if they're selected when we end up voting at the end of the year. So in order to nominate, it's very simple. You just go on our website, you go into the About, under About, and find the community partner nomination form, and it will take 2 minutes. That's all, 2 minutes. That's all it takes. All you need is the name of the organization and why you're recommending it and your contact. So please consider that when you're listening to the news or watching, seeing things out in the community that touch your heart. So anyway, Core Experience I was introduced to during a class with Donna Appadoni back in 2020. Just shortly after the pandemic started, we were doing a Zoom class, and I met Marcy Mitchell and Debbie DeMano, who are the leaders of this group, initiated this nonprofit. And I was so touched by what they were doing. This organization focuses on children and teens by providing them tools to get through life. And it's not just getting through life, but transforming their lives to become who they need to be. And using techniques that are not totally conventional are part of our system and very much spiritually aligned with what we do. And I think at this point in our history that children and teens have probably the biggest challenges of any generation in our history. And so I think that this is extremely important work. And so I would like to welcome Marcy Mitchell, who's COO of Core Experience.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you so much for inviting us to your beautiful center. It's really wonderful to be here. As Pam was saying, we are a nonprofit. We began about 5 years ago. We were in a class that my partner here, Yuli, was teaching at the Imani Center up in Cameron Park. And when the class ended, we just felt a certain energy and a connection. We didn't want to stop meeting. So for a while, we just met, and we would have wine and cheese, and we would try to figure out, well, why are we here? What's ours to do? And eventually, we settled on this mission of helping teens and kids by teaching them tools that can help them reduce anxiety, depression, and as Pam was saying, just live their best life. And these tools are the kinds of things that are familiar to all of you in this center, I'm sure. Things like meditation, heart-brain coherence, EFT tapping. And so we we just put our heads together. There were 6 women, and we just started thinking, what can we do? We began with 2-day workshops at Folsom Lake College, where Yuli teaches, and we would just bring teens in, and we had a drumming circle, and we had art therapy. We taught them how to do EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping. We taught them how to bring their heart and their brain into coherence. We meditated. We did yoga. They did journaling. They took their shoes off and they walked in the grass and did some grounding. And it was fun and it was exciting. And then a pandemic came. And we couldn't bring kids together, and we had to stay open to what Spirit was telling us. And that has been our theme from the start, is stay open, stay in flow, and see what the next step is. And so during that time, during the time of pandemic, we were able to figure out how to create a platform where we could teach these tools, where we could bring this training to kids and teens, and do it on a much greater level with the possibility to reach kids all over the world. And so we began to vision that, and it was in that class with Reverend Donna Appadoni that Pam was in that we really started to flesh this out and figure out how to do it. And so we have created this platform. It is currently in a school in the Bay Area, a K-8. It's in a program that serves underserved kids in San Diego. And we are meeting with the El Dorado Special Education Department in El Dorado County this month, which is a meeting we've been working on for years. So we are just stepping into this. We are just figuring out how to do it, and again, by staying open. Your donation is so helpful. We are still just a bunch of moms, volunteer-based, reaching into our own pockets to make this happen. I know we're poised for something much bigger, and we're just so grateful for what you have brought to us. It just helps us to figure out how this is going to unfold. So thank you so much. We're very happy to be here, and thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And you can visit them out at the table in the courtyard.
Great work. We're glad so much to be able to support your organization and the wonderful things that you all are doing. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, next week, yes. Daylight savings time begins. I mean, spring forward, right? Okay, because, every year, we put the clocks forward and someone comes in and they notice, why is everybody leaving? So spring your clock forward so you'll make sure that you're here on time, or if you come in the earlier service and you come in later, you can just hang around, we'll put you to work and then stay for the second service.
But for those of you who come to the 9, which would actually be 8, but then really 9, we have extra coffee for you. So you all know we have so many things going on here at SLC. We can't talk about all of them on Sundays. So anything that you want to find out, there's the bulletin board in the courtyard. There's you can go talk to the lovely ladies at the hub, and of course, anything you could possibly ever want to know is on our website, slcworld.org.
At this time, I invite any of our board of trustees that are present this morning, as well as any chaplains that are here. Invite them. And we have a couple of board members that are in the back, and we thank you for your service and all that you bring. You bring your time, your talent, your consciousness, your skill set to keep us moving through all these interesting times we're going through. So we thank you so much for that. And they're available to answer questions that you might have. And I think they, you can see who they are. I don't know if they have any special badges, but they're available to speak with you. And of course, our prayer chaplains do the very important work of holding the consciousness of the community, as well as being available to pray with you immediately after the service. If you're going through any kind of challenge or just want to celebrate something, they can leverage that energy even to another level. So our chaplains are always wearing the white stoles and available to pray with you right after the service, either here in the sanctuary or in the courtyard. So we thank them for their presence as well.
And we love to greet our newcomers, and in a moment we will ask you to raise your hand. But first, we want you to know there are many ways to become connected at SLC. And the way to do that is to fill out the welcome card. Now, the welcome card is available online, and you can just go to our website and fill that out and submit it, and then we will get back to you. Or if you're here on site, raise your hand, and we will give you the card, fill it out, take it out to the welcome table where there is a special gift and a very warm welcome.
Are any first timers? Anybody here for the first time? We just invite you to raise your hand. As I know we have a couple of folks who are community giving recipients that are here. And we're going to give out the card that you can fill out. And if you'd like to just know about all the activities that are taking place at Spiritual Life Center, we'll let you know. And let us know that we are supporting you in whatever your endeavor is as you grow, develop, and unfold in your life. And we appreciate your presence. And we affirm the magnificence that you are, and all of us are, even though sometimes we may forget about it. So at this time, we just invite anyone to welcome our newcomers, first timers, as well as welcome each other in a way that feels comfortable for you.
And we invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song, Get Together by Chet Powers. I think you'll remember this, recognize this song. Ready? Please join me in singing. Love is but a song we sing, and fear's the way we die. We can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the dove is together, we can love one another right now. Some will come and some will go. We shall surely pass. Then the one that brought us here, we recognize and laugh. Together we can love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together. We can love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on Please be seated.
I invite you now to speak aloud together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now we're going to sing this beautiful chant written by Richard Burdick. May all beings know peace.
Please join us in singing. May all beings know love. May all beings know peace. May all beings know love. May all beings know.
May all beings know love. May all beings know peace. As we come into this time of quiet, breathe naturally and simply become aware of your breath. Breathe into the back of your heart. Melt into your seat. Relax your eyelids. And allow your vision to become soft and cloudy as you close your eyes and float up into a light daydream. As you float high in the sky, you look down and you see a beautiful medicine wheel. There are 4 rainbow crystals marking the directions. In the center of the medicine wheel is a smooth crystal disc, emitting a pillar of light that reaches up and beckons you. Slowly, gently, you drift down through that pillar of light. And as you touch down on that crystal, the energy comes up and your heart center opens. It activates. Your own inner light expands and merges with the crystal light. You are one in love and peace, and light pours from your heart center. Facing the direction of the elemental beings now, pour your light into the earth beings, soil, rocks, crystal. Pour your love into the air beings, wind, breeze, breath. The water beings, streams, rivers, oceans, rain. And the fire beings, small sparks, large flames, electricity. Bless them all with love and peace.
May all beings know love. May all beings know peace.
And now you make a quarter turn to face the direction of the botanical beings. Pour light into trees, flowers, grass, all of the things that grow out of the earth elements. Bless them all with love and peace.
May all beings know love. May all beings know peace.
And now you make a quarter turn to face the direction of the animate beings. Pour light into the crawling, walking, flying, swimming beings. Bless them all with love and peace.
May all beings know love. May all beings know peace.
And now you make one more turn to face the direction of the human beings. And the light from your heart pours into all people, all colors, all creeds, all concerns. Bless them all with love and peace.
May all beings know love. May all beings know peace.
And take a moment now to slowly turn and face each direction once more. Bow. Seal your blessing with love and appreciation for all beings in all forms, in all circumstances. Standing in the pillar of light, you know oneness with all beings. And as the light lifts you and you begin to return to your world, please receive the blessing of our song.
No more pain. No more pain. May all beings know love. May all beings know There was a time when peace was on the earth, and joy and happiness did reign. 'Cause each one knew their worth, and my heart, how I yearn for that. Spirits return, and I cry as time flies. The Creator has a master plan, peace and happiness for everyone. The Creator makes but one demand, peace and happiness for all the land. There is a place where light forever shines, and rainbows are but shadows of love, so divine, and the glow of the love lights the heavens above, and it's free. Come with me. The Creator has a master plan, peace and happiness for everyone. The Creator makes but one demand, peace and happiness for all the land. All the land.
The Creator has a master plan for each one of us to make a stand for peace on earth. And yes, we can. With awakened minds and compassionate hearts, since time began, it's in our hands.
Peace and happiness
Thank you, Ann, for that wonderful rendition of the Pharoah Sanders tune. The Creator has a master plan. There is indeed a master plan. As I think about that song, certain songs, when you hear them, it conjures up certain memories, at least in me when I hear them. And I believe around that time that song came out, I was like in my first year in college, so that was a long time ago. And I remember being in our college dorms with some of my classmates, and we'd be listening to tunes such as Pharoah Sanders' The Creator Has a Master Plan. And we were there, pontificating 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because we had all of the answers to the problems in the world. I have no idea what those solutions were because there was so much smoke in the room. We couldn't hear each other. But we knew it was profound. Some of you understand what I'm talking about. We may not see it. We may not believe it. Because sometimes we're not vibrating on the level of that consciousness. Emily Cady, who wrote in her book, Lessons in Truth, on the chapter on the unity and spirit, said that if we did not know it as a living reality, that behind all the multitude and the variety of human experiences, the wars and rumors of war, and all the challenges that were going on in our world, that behind all of that, there is a mastermind that sees the end from the beginning. And if we did not know it, we'll become discouraged. But there is a blueprint. There is a plan. There is a vision waiting to catch our attention. And I think for us to recognize this master plan, to get a glimpse of it, we must have and continue to have an evolution or a revolution of values. And so we're going to explore that theme this month, the transformation or revolution of values, something to that effect. And this evolution or transformation is taking place. And it simply means that we're moving through a hierarchy of values as we evolve as a species. We're becoming aware that there are all kinds of values. Of course, there are natural values. Charles Darwin talked about that, the natural values in terms of survival of the fittest, and how beings and organisms inherently struggle against one another for what appears to be limited resources. And therefore, only the strongest survive. The most robust, the most adaptable will emerge victorious. And that is one stage of values to live by. But as human beings, we're unfinished. And we can go and have gone beyond mere survival. But survival is a stage, and we still see that from time to time in our world. Some people are over-surviving. But there's another stage that we may go on into, or maybe I'm just speaking for myself, look at my own life. We go through what I call hedonistic values, which means that if it feels good, do it. Some of us may remember those values. Feels good, just do it. Back in the day, there were some of those values that we may have had that, we were somehow running amok and running our life. And then whenever we live in hedonistic values, we ride along the roller coaster of life. Some days are really up, some days are down, but sometimes we're never really at peace. We're searching for something outside of us to give us satisfaction, and it never can. And then we may move a little bit beyond that to what we see often as materialistic values. We know those values where people get, hoard, accumulate, sometimes at other people's expense. Then it evolved, probably in the 60s, we had the humanistic values, and we want to be successful in the world. Sometimes we want to be well-liked. And that's okay. It's part of the journey. We have to get our structures and our foundations in place in order to do something greater. And then at some point we may get religious. and there's religious values. When I'm talking about religious values, I'm speaking about religiosity, where individuals are trying to do the right thing to get a blessing from this presence that we call God. And we end up studying all the different things. Maybe it's the 10 Commandments, moving through life, not trying to make too many mistakes, trying to placate a God religiously by doing certain things so God will act on our behalf. That's a stage of our development. But there is no such God as that. For this presence we call God is beyond words. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever. God does not change. There's only one presence, one power, one reality in its fullness everywhere. And it's always being itself. So we're not here to get God to do something for us. What we're here to do is be available for what God has done, is already doing, and to jointly participate in the good of God that is happening all of the time. Of course, there's something that goes beyond religious values, of course, and those are spiritual values. When we begin to get in alignment with what is, this power, this presence, this love that we've been singing about this morning, this is where we begin to see and vibrate at the level of the master plan, where we learn to move from competition to cooperation so we can continue to co-evolve within the world in which we are living. You know, there was once a teacher who bought a bunch of balloons to school. And he asked all the children to kind of blow up all of the balloons and to write their names on the balloons. And they tossed the balloons into the hallway. And the teacher mixed up all the balloons. It was like a long hallway, must have been like 100 balloons or more. And the teacher gave them 5 minutes to find the balloon with their name on it. And the children ran around looking frantically for the balloon with their name on it, and nobody was able to find their balloon. It was like too many balloons and too many names. And then the teacher told them to take the balloon closest to them and give it to the person whose name was on it. And in less than 2 minutes, everyone had their balloon. And finally, the teacher said, balloons are like happiness. No one will find it looking for theirs only. Instead, if everyone cares about each other's, they will find theirs as quickly as possible. Perhaps on a small scale, this is spiritual values in action. It's the recognition that we all do well when we all do well. This is the evolutionary jump I think we must take if we are to avail ourselves to the Creator's master plan for humanity, which means we must question some of the basic assumptions maybe we've been living with, the tenets of sometimes of our economic system, our political system, our social way of being in the world. Meaning there must be a willingness to share to replace what appears to be greed. Peaceful coexistence will be valued over violence. And individual self-importance will be transformed into humble realizations that our ability to truly thrive depends on adhering to values that sustain life itself for everyone. Now, I say that to say that, it doesn't mean that our individuality or individual self-interest will disappear. We'll always be unique expressions of the Creator ourselves. We will always continue to be individuals. But we will restore the balance in which our own self-interest will be integrated or negotiated with the greater interests of the communities and the world in which we live. So the next stage of our evolution will be cooperative synergy over mere competitive exploitation. I remember this article years ago. It kind of made news in the business community. There was a CEO, his name was Dan Price. And he did something that was really unusual for a business. He raised everybody's salary of his, he had a credit card processing company. And he decided to make everyone's salary a base of $70,000 a year. And right when he did that, he was making a lot of money himself. He slashed his salary to give his employees a pay raise. And, when I read that, I said, this will never work. That's not what businesses do. They're about the bottom line, is about making as much profit as possible. And some people hailed him as a hero, but I said, this is not going to work. He's out of his mind. He'll probably be in bankruptcy before long. And he met those predictions that others had of his doom in a different way, because that's not what happened. Instead, his companies thrived, almost doubled the number of his employees. He tripled the growth of his company. And it led to very fiercely loyal employees. And turnover was practically non-existent. And their knowledge of how to help their particular customer skyrocketed over time, because they stayed much longer than the average person staying at a job. Of course, he went against the grain of what was expected from someone heading a company such as that. And like a lot of companies, he started this like in 2015, but COVID hit, of course, to 2020. And like a lot of companies, it lost half of its business. But it bounced back after its employees, on their own, without any pushing from anyone else, they all took a pay cut. And after a while, not only did they get all of their salary back, they got their lost salaries repaid to them as well. Now, this is a very unusual case. I don't know if we're working on other cases, but the world probably wasn't ready for what he was doing. It was not ready. The world's not ready to make that commonplace. But this particular CEO recognized that we all do better when we all do better. And along the way, Dan, that CEO, had a transformation of values, because some things that had come to his attention that caused him to look at his business differently. And I think one of the things that happened, he became of service to a spiritual idea. I think in our world, in order to transcend the human predicament that can capture this master plan, we must embody a value system that says we're not only here to succeed materialistically from a point of view, we're here to be of service to a spiritual idea. I believe this will be the new definition of success, to be of service to an idea. And when we're of service to a spiritual idea, involved in that idea is abundance. Involved in idea is prosperity. Involved in idea is unbounded energy and vitality and vigor and transforming knowledge and divine wisdom and compassion and understanding. Involved in idea is the ability to forgive ourselves and others, to see things aright from a higher point of view. I think to be of service, we become finely tuned instruments of God. Finely tuned instruments of love itself, of peace, and of wholeness, to demonstrate more of heaven on earth. I was, the ministers have a ministers group on Facebook, I look at it every once in a while. And, one of the ministers decided to throw out this question. He said, in light of the things that are happening in Ukraine, the war, are you still willing to go and say on Sundays that, there's only one presence and one power, God the good, omnipotent? Or as we say, God is absolute good, as we say every week. God and people are inherently good. And of course, there was a long discussion from everybody on there. I didn't, I kind of looked at a little bit of it, but I had to think about that, because that's a very challenging question for those who have this belief. And I come to the realization that yes, in our life, when we say God is good and God is good all the time, yes, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be challenges in our world. It doesn't mean there are not going to be some ups and downs. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be individuals who represent the personification of evil, doing things that are atrocious to the humankind. It doesn't mean any of that. That when we say God is good, it doesn't mean that the facts of life are to our liking. When we're saying that God is good, that this universal presence that we know about is changeless. And it's simply waiting for a consciousness big enough, bold enough, courageous enough to be in alignment with this changeless, life-affirming energy that is always out there. Because we're not automatons. We have choice. And our world is nothing more than a reflection of the group soul, the group consciousness. And when we lift our consciousness, then what we will outpicture is a reflection of the consciousness that we have right where we are. So yes, God is absolutely good. It is human beings must get in alignment with this goodness in order to have this new reflection of what is possible in our world. Anyway, that's my rant for this morning. Thinking about that Pharoah Sanders song, The Creator Has a Master Plan, we realize the Creator, God, this force, He kind of always gives us a glimpse of what that master plan can look like, at least an aspect of it. So I'm going to have team up that photo there. And sometimes it's through other creations that inhabit the planet that we get an idea of what that looks like. Now here you see, there's a photo up there, and those are, it's a drop of water right in the middle of a bunch of ants that are around there. So there are 12 ants up there, and they're all gathered up there to drink. Now the interesting thing is that the ants have divided themselves into 4 groups. And the reason that they've divided themselves into 4 groups is to maintain a balance of the water drop and to keep it from tilting and falling to the ground. You know, I think the ants had their own master plan to cooperate and divide the water amongst themselves so that they all benefit. Now, of course, my mind comes up now, they're evenly divided up, 4 groups of 3. What if another ant came up there and kind of messed up the balance? But, James, don't try to, think about all of that. But that just demonstrates how we all can do better when everyone does better for a greater cooperation. Thank you so much for doing that. After the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln put into practice his words, malice toward none and charity toward all. The Confederacy had been defeated, but he did not inflict more pain on the South to try to humiliate them. He went to the soldiers that opposed him. He comforted the rebels and visited the gravesides of those who had died that were fighting against the Union. And he told his army leaders at that time to let them go home. Give them their horses so they can plow their fields, their guns so they can hunt for their food, to help them do better. I think someone came up to him and asked, when you have an enemy, you're here to destroy your enemy. And his response is, if I turn an enemy to a friend, have I not destroyed my enemy? It's the same approach, I think, that Harry Truman took place after World War II toward Germany and Japan. The so-called enemies became prosperous because they became allies of the United States. I think on some level, I don't know if they would say this, they knew that if everyone did well, we would all do well. I think that's what spiritual values are all about. They are values of love and mutual benefit. It is to regard other people's countries as our own, to regard other people's families as our own, to regard other people's person as our own. And I believe when all the people of the world begin with each other and express that divine love toward one another, the strong will not overcome the weak. The many will not oppress the seeming few. The well-to-do will not insult those who are not well-to-do. And the honored will not despise the humble. And the cunning will not deceive those who may be ignorant of the facts of life. Because of spiritual values, the spiritual value of universal love, all the calamities, all the hatred, the animosity in the world will not arise. Because on some level we will know, without a doubt, we all do better when we all do better. Peace and blessings to you. I believe next week you're speaking, Deborah. Oh, there you go. And she's going to be speaking on Follow the Message, continuing on this train of thought on radical transformation of values. So I know Deborah always has wonderful talks, and so be here or be square, as they like to say. At this time, we would invite those who may be watching online, whatever time or day it may be, if you'd like to support this message and get it out to as many people, you can support it with your donation or your gift. And you can do so by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our websites, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and you can give in other ways, including sending a donation by mail. You know, we can create a world that works for all, but it's going to take all of us to do that in some way, shape, or form, taking our part of the universe and doing our part. So we have an opportunity to do that no matter where you may be. For those who are present, we invite you to take your gift or your offering today and symbolically raise it to the heavens, which is always ever expanding good. And if you're already given through EFTs or by mail in some way, know that you're in the flow of a principle that says you can never outgive this presence. And whatever you give out, it does come back in ways we never imagined. And so with that, I invite us to join in as we affirm our offertory blessing today. Let us say it together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Yeah, something great is happening. Love has taken hold and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion, where drops in one ocean roll on. Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live your dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gift with a world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. We're gonna stand together now. Every day's a chance you can do something amazing, to feel your passion blazing and shine. Yeah, paint with every vision and dance in new directions, explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live your dreams of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gift with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Let's stand together now. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world, one dream, one voice, one heart, one world, one dream, one voice, one heart. moment for our greatness. Let's stand together. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gift with a world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together now. Everybody, let's stand together. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's stand together. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, it works when it works for everyone. Yeah. Let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together.
Everybody, let's stand together. Together we bring forth this energy of divine spirit. First of all, blessing those who have given today, and will continue to support this community to spread the word of the possibilities of the human spirit, the spiritual nature of who we are, through this teaching of New Thought, Ancient Wisdom. We also hold in prayer those who have left prayers in the prayer box, recognizing that every person at some time or another has challenges, setbacks, difficulties, questions they have no answers to, problems that appear to have no solutions. But we're reminded that there's a presence that knows the solution to every seeming problem that we have, because it only thinks in divine and perfect spiritual solutions. So we hold that energy field for those who have left those prayers today, knowing that the prayer has already been answered on the spiritual plane, and our job is simply to raise ourselves to be one with this answer and know it will show up and manifest in ways that maybe we never imagined. So we bless those who have left those prayers. We bless those who may have prayers to come. As that statement says, before they call, I've already answered you. That Spirit knows the answer. So it is done. We affirm it. We're confident in this truth as we go forth, making it part of our awareness here and now. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that, let us join together as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Let us now sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator.
So it is. Peace and blessings to you. Have a great day and a great week. God bless.